Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and what we're going to make are cookies. But these particular cookies are made with corn flakes. It's a relatively very easy recipe. You can put it together just in a bowl by hand with a spoon or a spatula. I'm using my stand-up because I really feel that when we have to blend the sweetened condensed milk with the peanut butter, it just blends it better, okay? So please do this recipe by hand, or you could use your hand mixer too, or your stand. It's going to be really up to you. So let's get started. First off, you're going to need 1 can of your sweetened condensed milk. Now this isn't evaporated, the kind you use for pumpkin pies and what have you. This is the one that's sweetened, that has sugar in it. You'll need 1 can, so I'm just going to put that in my mixing bowl. This is that nice, creamy, sweet milk that comes in a can. Okay. The next thing you're going to put in is a 1/2 cup of peanut butter. Now I'm using creamy. You can use crunchy if you prefer, and whatever brand that you like. That's a 1/2 cup. I'm going to get this all out of here. Okay. And this is where I like to use the beater method, whether it's your stand or your hand mixer, because I want this sweetened condensed milk and the peanut butter to be really well mixed. Now I'm going to warn you about the sound, about my mixer, so if you want to turn down the sound, go ahead. Okay. You, of course, can use a lower speed for that, but I want to do it to move it along for the video. And then you can see how beautifully it creamed the sweetened condensed milk with the peanut butter, so that I know that it's really well combined and well mixed, okay? The last thing that you're going to need is corn flakes, and you need 5 cups of corn flakes. And you don't want them heaping, you want them just level with your measuring cup. And again, whatever brand that you prefer, okay? And I just put them all in, and then just for a few seconds I slowly turn my beater. Now to mix them thoroughly, you could stop right now and then mix it by hand if you wanted to. Now many of you are probably going to say, well, you know, she's breaking up all the cornflakes. No, you're not. And in fact, if they are a little bit broken, I feel they're going to form the cookie rounder or higher for you. So let's do that now. Okay, and as you can see, at a very low speed did I do that. So really breaking them all up would not be really a true statement. And I'm just going to take the excess off my paddle. And I'm going to just go to the bottom and just give it one good turn. And I don't know if you can see that, but you can see all the cornflakes have really still have all their integrity on their sides. They're not dust or that kind of thing. But you know, you of course can do this however that you want and you see fit. Now, this is the size of scoop that I use. If you don't have a scoop, use a tablespoon. If you prefer to make them smaller, I just want to show you in comparison the smaller scoop, which is more like a teaspoon. I particularly like to make this size, which is more of a tablespoon. And I like using the scoop because I feel it'll form the cookie better, and then I can get an idea of the same size and quantity, so when they bake up, they become more even, that kind of thing, okay? You will need a pan that's been heavily greased, so you decide however you want to do that. You can go ahead and use your parchment paper if you prefer. I don't like to use the parchment on this cookie because I have a lot of sticking issues, and then I'm afraid and I have done it, when you start to pick up the cookie, it starts to break. So if, again, you try, you'll know best what you want to do. Okay, and then I just take my scoop and just kind of round it off as much as you can. The edges will be a little jagged, but that's not going to affect the cookie. Now, these cookies will spread, believe it or not, they will spread out. So give them a little bit of room, you know, give them about 1 inch or 2 inches, okay? If you want it to be completely round, then just take your finger, you know, and round them off. And again, you can see if they start to fall apart a little bit, you might have to just, you know, put the little flakes in place. But again, these cookies are so delicious, whether they bake up high and tall, or they bake up a little misshaped or flat. Oh, they are so good. They really are, okay? So you can get the idea. You know, it depends, you know, how meticulous you want to be or fussy with the shaping. And it is nice to have a nice presentation on a cookie. That's for sure. That's a given. Okay, and then what I like to do is I just take the chocolate morsels. You can use whatever flavor, you know, if you want to put peanut butter on, or caramel morsels, or you can just leave it plain. You could also put a nut on top, your favorite nut, or walnut, or pecan, you know, a chopped nut, or even pecans. There's, you know, so many ways of doing it. You can also, if you want, you can just put a little bit of coconut on the top if you'd like that as well. So you can garnish it however you want, or just leave them plain. These bake up really delicious. Now, you're going to put them in the preheated oven at 350 degrees. And I will urge you to start checking them. They generally take about 10 minutes, but I would safely say I would start checking around 6 minutes or so, because you know our oven's set up so differently, and you don't want to burn these cookies. You know, what we're really doing, I believe, is just sort of melting the two ingredients together and then heating them, as well as then the cooling process hardens the cookie a bit. So I think really that's why we're really baking it. So let me rinse my hands quickly, and then I'd like to show you a finished product, what these cookies look like. And this is how they'll turn out. They can and will bake up pretty nice and high. Again, it really depends how fussy you are on the edges. If they have a little bit of a brown edge to them, you can either, you know, just take, whoops, sorry, that had to be loud. Just take off the part and break it off if that bothers you.